Hello everyone and welcome to another casual review. Today I'm talking about Yoshi Story. Yoshi Story is a 2D platformer with some elements where you can choose your paths, so I guess it's kind of like a 2.5D platformer. It's the first time that Yoshi has been a playable character in a 3D with this 3D model aesthetic. I can see some parallels between this and Yoshi's Island, specifically with its cutesy tone, almost like a crafted kind of fabric aesthetic in terms of the platforms and the background. Like sometimes you'll see like patches of denim, or you'll see like strings of yarn tying everything together. It's not like quite on the nose as much as like Yoshi's Crafted World or Yoshi's Woolly World, but it still has that kind of fabric-y kind of feel to it. The plot of this game is that Baby Bowser stole the happy fruit tree from all the Yoshis. Most of the Yoshis started tripping out or getting weird or something, and it's up to 6 newly hatched Yoshis to hunt down the happy fruit tree in Baby Bowser's castle. The idea of this game is very much happiness. Like the Yoshis are just searching for happiness. Without it, all is lost. And so as they are traversing across this book, essentially, they are trying to acquire as much happiness as possible, spread as much happiness as possible. Everything is just so happy. And so mechanically, to go along with this, instead of a score, like a high score when you're playing through this game, it is a measure of the Yoshi's happiness. So whenever you collect coins, whenever you defeat enemies, whenever you collect certain resources like happy hearts and fruit, you are going to increase your overall score, which is said to be the Yoshi's overall happiness. And so the idea of this game is it's very, very replayable because it's so super short, and you're just trying to get as high of a score as possible, or as high of a happiness meter as possible. It's unique in the 2D platforming aspect where usually when you play a level in a 2D platformer, there's a beginning and there's an end. But in this game, it's a little more open in terms of like exploration and where you go. There's a lot of different paths in certain levels, and you are collecting happy hearts. So in each level, there are 3 happy hearts, and each one gives you like 100 happiness score, and then there's just fruit scattered throughout this level, and you need to eat a certain amount of fruit in order for the level to end. So if you wanted to, at the very beginning of the game or the level, you just eat as much fruit as possible, not caring about what kind of fruit you're eating, and the level will cut off pretty short. Like you'll make it about halfway into the level before you eat enough required fruit for the level to end. This will not give you a very high happy score though. There is a strategy to this in terms of overall increasing your overall happiness by eating the same fruit over and over again. Because if you eat 1 banana, for instance, it will give you like 1 point of happiness. But if you eat a second banana right afterwards, then it will be that happiness times 2. And then if you eat a third banana in a row, then it'll be that happiness times 3. And so strategically, you want to be eating the exact same fruit in a row without breaking that chain of that same fruit to overall multiply the happiness, the score that you're getting. Before you play through the game, it will randomly assign you 1 lucky fruit. And there's 4 different fruits that can be lucky fruits. There's an apple, a banana, a watermelon, and some grapes. So it will tell you, okay, so for this playthrough, grapes are your lucky fruit. The grapes will give you lots of happy meters. So that's kind of like the fruit that you want to focus on. Except it's really not. Strategically, there is a 5th fruit that is just like almost like a cantaloupe, a melon kind of thing, and that's just like a generic fruit. But the thing about this cantaloupe melon is it is the most common fruit that you will find. If you are going for your lucky fruit, you won't be able to acquire all of the fruit required by the end of the level. You'll maybe get like half of the required fruit for that level, and then you're going to have to start aiming for a different fruit. So if you're really going for this bonus multiplier, you're going to want to hunt down as many of these common cantaloupe melons as possible, and each level should have enough for you to collect just these fruits and none of the other unique fruits. I go all into this to say that I did not really care about the happiness meter or my high score. What I really cared about for this playthrough is I just wanted to play to the end of each level. And so I just wanted to make it to the very end of the level, and then there's a little pot at the end of each level that will loop you back to the beginning of the said level. And so typically what I would aim for fruit, because like I kind of cared about scores, but not really, I would always eat my lucky fruit, and then I'd always eat these common melon cantaloupes, and that would usually be enough to carry me to the end of the level. Sometimes I would reach the end of the level and I would still need like 10 more fruit, then I would just loop back to the beginning and eat any kind of fruit. That being said, this is a fairly easy game to play through, so if you are looking to add a little bit of challenge to your playthrough, maybe try to shoot for a really high score, and I think that will give you a little bit extra challenge that you're looking for. The level selection in this game is pretty weird too. It's more run-based and replayability based. So the idea is these Yoshis are in a book, like almost like a pop-up book. And the book has 6 pages. The 6th page is always going to be the last level where you face off against Baby Bowser. Now each page has 4 potential different levels, and they aren't always available to you. So if you were playing like me and wanted to play through the end of every single level in Yoshi's Story, you're going to have to collect happy hearts. I mentioned these a little while ago, but there are 3 happy hearts in each level. If you don't collect any happy hearts in the level, the next page that you play will only have the first level available for you to select. If you collect 1 happy heart, that means you'll have the first and the second level available for you to choose in the next page. If you collect 2, then you'll get 3 levels available to choose, and then if you get all 3 happy hearts, then you'll get all 4 levels to select in the next page. So the first time I played through this game, I wanted to collect all 3 happy hearts in each level and play through that 4th level that's only available if you collect all 3 happy hearts in the previous level. So if you really want to play through every single level in this game, you're going to have to play through this game 4 times. One playthrough, though, is really only 6 levels, and so it is about half an hour. So if you were to try to play through every single level and you weren't really caring about score or anything like that, you're looking at about 3 to 4 hours of potential game time here. Once you play through a level, though, you can replay through that specific level as many times as you want in trial mode and try to go for the highest potential score. So at the beginning of each run, you are given about 6 or 7 different colored Yoshis. The thing about this game is, while it is easy, there are some instant deaths. You can be eaten by fish, you can drop off the platform, certain things will automatically kill you. But Yoshis don't die, but the scene that you see is almost worse than like a Mario death. In Mario, you die, it goes do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, and then you start over playing as Mario. In Yoshi, if you quote-unquote die, then it is terribly sad, because this Yoshi will be carried off by Bowser's goons and taken into Bowser's castle to be imprisoned there. And they play the most depressing music, and Yoshi is so sad. It is very heartbreaking, and so it is almost like a fate worse than death. I'd rather just have lives and lose a life rather than lose a Yoshi, because if you're playing as Yellow Yoshi gets carried off to Baby Bowser's castle, then you cannot play as Yellow Yoshi for the rest of that run. If you run out of Yoshis, then it's game over. There is some hope, however. If you do happen to find a White Shy Guy will free a Yoshi from Baby Bowser's castle, so then you can replay as that Yoshi. There are also 2 secret colored Yoshis that have additional powers that you can potentially unlock in a run. In some levels, you will find a giant white Yoshi egg or a giant black Yoshi egg, and this will unlock black or white Yoshi if you make it to the end of the level without dying. These Yoshis are cool because their eggs have a larger firework radius when they explode, and they can eat the hot peppers without losing some health. Your health is indicated by a flower, and when you take damage, petals will be plucked from this flower. The flower ultimately has like, I think 8 petals. That doesn't mean that you have 8 hit points. If you get hit by an enemy, you're gonna lose about 4 petals. So you're looking at about 3 hits before it's game over and you're carried off to Baby Bowser's castle. But it is fairly easy to heal up if you just eat fruit. Your lucky fruit will heal you up all the way, but like any fruit will heal you a certain amount, or eat enemies. There's lots of means of healing up. That's why the main mean of death that's going to happen to you is if you get knocked off a ledge or hit spikes or get eaten by a fish, because that is instantaneous and there's no coming back from that. It's also pretty difficult because Yoshi does not control very well in this game. And I'm entirely willing to admit it could be my Nintendo 64 controllers, because I was playing on original hardware. This game is available through the Nintendo Switch Online on Nintendo Switch, and I'm sure with the Joy-Cons this controls easier. But using a Nintendo 64 controller, I'm using this analog stick, and I have 3 different Nintendo 64 controllers. None of them gave me very great control of Yoshi, and so it could either be my controllers or it could be the game, and I'm entirely willing to admit that it could be either or. Each one is equally possible, because my Nintendo 64 controllers are very old, and those analog sticks wear down pretty rapidly. But you almost have to like slam the analog stick off to the side to get Yoshi to run at a acceptable speed. Otherwise, he's just going to walk at a leisurely pace. I also don't like how he jumps and how he lands. I don't know, it just almost feels like I'm playing on an icy surface or something. Like, Yoshi's so slippery, and so the platforming for me was kind of difficult. It's like the easiest, hardest game I've ever played, if that makes sense. Aside from his movement, Yoshi has a lot of tools at his disposal, some that I've never seen in any other Yoshi game. He can sniff for hidden objects, and he'll do this cute little indication that there's a secret object if you sniff at the right spot, and then you can do a ground pound, and that will reveal fruit or coins or a happy heart, something like that. His egg throwing aim is different than most other Yoshi games that I've played. In other Yoshi games, if you're aiming your egg, a cursor will move up and down, like at an angle, and then when you let go of the egg throwing button, he'll throw his egg. In this game, you have complete control over this cursor where you're going to aim, and the egg doesn't just continuously fly forward, it's going to stop at where your cursor was and explode into a firework. And while more control sounds like it would be better, it's actually kind of worse, because you cannot move whatsoever if you're trying to aim your egg cursor, because your analog stick is being used to aim the cursor, and you cannot move Yoshi at the same time. Compare this to something like Yoshi's Island, where you can have full control over moving and aiming your cursor at the same time, which makes platforming a lot easier and trying to multitask. Sometimes in this game, you're going to be on a rock that like rolls back and forth, and you're trying to throw your egg, and you have to do it really quick because you have no control over Yoshi when you're aiming your egg. I do like that these eggs explode into fireworks though, and kind of have this blast radius. That's fun. Yoshi is also the most expressive I have ever seen in this game compared to any other Yoshi game. He's so cute in his animations, and all his sounds are so cute, and he's just so expressive. If you stand still, he'll look at you like, and like ask why you're not moving. His little sniffs are cute. He'll make these cute little noises as he's walking slow. If he's crouched and he's moving really slow, he's like looking up very carefully. I don't know, he's just so expressive, even more so than his newer games such as Woolly World and Crafted World. The music is also very, very charming. It's the same tone, it's the same beat, but depending on the level, it's got like a different rhythm, like different instruments are playing it. So if you're in the jungle, it's this same beat, but it's played with like drums. And if you're almost in like this tower, then it'll be more of like a soft guitar playing this tune. And what's so cute about Yoshi is if you're just standing still, he'll just start dancing in place and just humming along to the tempo of this song. It's so cute. Overall, I think I'm going to give this game a 3 out of 5, and that 3 is carried heavily by the cuteness and aesthetic and tone of this game. Just this message of these cute little Yoshis spreading happiness wherever they go, and their expressiveness. That's what really carries this game. In terms of the actual gameplay, I could take it or leave it. I kind of like this idea of having multiple runs and being able to play these different levels, but I think I would have preferred more of an overworld like Super Mario World, Yoshi's Island, that kind of thing, compared to this like branching path idea. Also, you're not really, in terms of like gameplay length, you're not getting a lot of bang for your buck here, unless you like to really try and maximize that happiness level, that high score. Well guys, that's it for me. Let me know if you have any questions or comments about Yoshi's story, and I'd love to hear what you have to say. Otherwise, I'll talk to you later. Bye!